Right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. See, for this Festo webinar today, which I'll present for the next 30 minutes. So just see there's a few people still coming in through the poll, so I'll start shortly. I'll give it another 20-30 seconds before we get going. So thank you all for joining us this morning, and I'll start off shortly. All right, I think everyone is in at the moment that was in the queue. So I think we can get going now. Just a quick overview, some house rules before I get started. You'll see on the page, you should be seeing in front of you some instructions for the webinar. Everyone will be on mute during the webinar. There's a Q&A session afterwards, so if you do have questions, please feel free to ask them after the presentation or type them in the chat whilst I'm talking. The session is being recorded, so keep that in mind. We will not show you participant names or questions in the recording due to Privacy of Information Act, but the recording is available for you afterwards to listen to the session again. Right, and then I think with that, my name is Thomas Holtz. I'm Festo Technical Support, and I do training for Festo. So I'll be presenting the webinar today. With me is my colleague, Kirsha Baria. She's doing she will assist me today with some of the poll questions. We'll be asking a poll question halfway through the presentation to get some feedback from you as an audience. So she'll be assisting me today. Right, so then let's get into it. So today I'll be going through the Festo AppWorld. I'll be doing three parts. I'll give you guys an overview of the Festo AppWorld. What is it about? What are the advantages and the benefits to you? Then I'll go into Eplan Macros, so schematic solutions from Festo for Eplan. And then lastly, I'll do a bit of a practical. I'll go online to the AppWorld. I'll show everyone how the AppWorld works, what is there available for you to look at and purchase, and how to load an Eplan macro, for example, how easy and effective it is. And I just also would like to mention we are running a promo at the moment on our AppWorld till the end of August. So most of the software that I'll be talking about today is available there at a 20% discount. So do make use of the opportunity currently. Right, so then with the AppWorld, so what is the AppWorld and how did we derive it? Where do we come with an AppWorld and what does it mean for you? So I'm sure you will have all heard terms such as Industry 4.0, big data, AI, Internet of Things. There's a lot of terminology in the market and it's giving us an indication of what the future business might be like and where we're heading. We're moving from a very input-output driven world to a very analytical world where everything we do is being monitored and looked at and optimized. And with that, Festo is launching smart products into the market. So we're looking at getting products into the market that don't do like the traditional cylinder forward back or end-to-end positioning, but actually monitor what they are doing. So the products themselves are monitoring their processes, monitoring cycle time, monitoring the environment, and picking up if anything changes. With these smart products that have built-in intelligence, we also have networking and communication ability. So the products now speak to other products within their cell or their environment, and then communicate to higher levels, so be it your PLC or the cloud. With this communication, we have opened up a new portal of smart services. So with this information that we are receiving, we are able to analyze it, and you as our customers are able to analyze the data that you're receiving and act on that. So be it proactive, so for example, OEE or overall equipment effectiveness. If you looking at the products you've purchased, are they giving you the lifetime and the efficiencies that you require of them? You know, are you monitoring these products, and are they giving you the end result that you wanted from them? For example, manufacturing performance. Is your manufacturing process on the level where you'd like it to be, and is it performing optimally? Process optimization. Are there bottlenecks in your line? You know, your production processes. Where are the weak points? Where are the slow points? You know, where can you improve a product or a process so that you get a more efficient and effective process, and with that you improve your profitability, you're reducing your costs, you're producing more benefits to you. And then another big topic that we also involved with quite heavily, energy monitoring. Compressed air, as you know, with Eskom getting more and more expensive, things are getting really pricey. So energy monitoring is becoming a hot topic. The compressed air that you're using, or the energy that you're using in your plant or your production process, how efficient are you using that? Can you monitor that, and can you improve on that, reduce your costs? So with all of these smart services, we have created the Festo AppWorld. So the AppWorld is basically an online portal or an online web browser website that allows you to access all of these services that we are creating. And we currently have a basket of services available, and we are increasing the amount of services that we add as we venture into this AI industry 4.0 world that we are heading in. So that, in a nutshell, is where the AppWorld comes from, just as some background. So what I'd like to do now is take you through some of the services and software tools that we have already available on the AppWorld that could add some benefit to your daily lives. So I'd start off with Festo Dashboards. So the Festo Dashboards is a dashboard that displays information from our Festo products. Dashboard would be very similar to you driving your car. If you're driving day to day, your dashboard on your car gives you real live information on what your car is doing. So you can see your fuel level, you can see how fast you're going, you can see how far you can still go. So that's basically the same effect with Festo Dashboards. We are plug into a Festo product and we can show you the live data. So this means that you do not have to be at your production line to look at your production line. For example, the E2M that is shown here on the bottom right-hand side. It's a Festo energy monitoring tool. It's designed to look at your compressed air line and monitor it. So the information you could receive from that would be your pressure, your volume, your consumption, your on and off times. In your off times, what is your leakage rates, for example? That all of this information is available on the dashboard. The dashboard is pre-configured, so when you purchase the dashboard license, you receive the dashboard as is. No extra work required. So how this basically works in a nutshell is the E2M would communicate to a PLC, Festo or otherwise, and then an IoT gateway from us. The gateway then communicates to the cloud via standard protocols. At the moment, we've got OPC UA or AMQP, MTQP, standard protocols that then send the information into the cloud and are received by the dashboard. The benefits here with using a dashboard, one, you've got documentation of your energy consumption. So you do not need to guess how much compressed air are you using, what is your flow rates required on a certain line, what is your leak rates. All of that information is now documented. The energy saving measures, so if you know how much energy you're using or compressed air, you know how much energy you could save, or what your CO2 consumption is, as that's becoming more and more of a topic, how much CO2 we're using. Leakage detection, with that information that you have, for example, if your line is shut down, you can monitor how much leakage you have in that line, so you can act on that, reduce your leakages, therefore reducing your costs. And with the cost reduction, you also increase your profitability. So real nice benefits here with this type of setup. And then lastly, also the access to historical data. So you have a license. So for example, an E2M dashboard would be a 12-month license. So in those 12 months, all the data that is being generated by the E2M is saved for you. You can download that, you can analyze that and use that. and the license is obviously renewable. So once the 12-month period is done, you can renew your license and carry on. So all of this information is at your fingertips, giving you powerful tools to make good decisions. All right, with the Festo Dashboards, we also have Smart Tenants. Smart Tenants is one of the software services that we are offering at a discount at the moment. So Smart Tenants is a smart maintenance tool. With Smart Tenants, gone are the days of pen and paper maintenance and writing down tasks on whiteboards or on pieces of paper. With Smart Tenants, we've digitalized the maintenance process. So you can now, when you buy a Smart Tenants license, you now have access to a PC and a smartphone user. So with your PC setup, you can create and do all your maintenance tasks on the desktop or your laptop. With this very nice feature here is that you can structure your maintenance tasks. So be it for today, for the week, for the month, for the year, you can plan ahead and do these maintenance tasks. You can structure them according to your machine or your production line or a certain part of your plant. How you structure it is completely free and easy to use. The nice thing here is that you don't need to set any reminders. Once the tasks are set, they automatically send to your maintenance team or your users. They then receive the tasks and know what tasks to do for the week or for the day, depending on how you've set it up. With the Smart Tenants tasks, we also have some really nice features adding on to that. So with a task, for example, if you need to do greasing a bearing that needs to be done at certain intervals, so the maintenance tasks are not Festo specific. You can create any task in this portal. But for a specific task, you also have the option to add user manuals. You can add your videos or even photos of what needs to be done and which part needs to be maintained or which item needs to be achieved for that day. So really, really flexible option with how you do it. The nice feature with the advanced license module is that with the advanced license module, the user on the shop floor can also report incidents. So we have an incident management tool now involved. So if the smartphone user on the shop floor, the maintenance guy, finds something that's a breakdown or is going to happen, that possibly he can report the incident, this then comes back to you and allows you then to this comes back to you and then allows you to react on that, to act quickly on what has happened in your system. So this gives you a really nice flexibility with Smart Tenants. I will show you Smart Tenants and how to set it up a bit later on in the practical part when I go on to the AppWorld, but keep that in mind. Really nice features in Smart Tenants. And then lastly, before I get into Eplan, I just want to quickly go over Fluid Draw again. Fluid Draw webinar I did last month. It's available online if you want some more information, but Fluid Draw in a nutshell is a schematic solutions from Festo. It allows you to draw your pneumatic and electrical systems from your machine or your production line. It's a very nice, compact and quick way to create a drawing pack for your machine if it needs to go out to customers for fault finding or for traceability purposes. Fluid Draw is very structured and intuitive to use. It has a predefined template which you can modify, so a really nice way to do your drawings, a very neat and efficient and way to do the drawings. It has access to standard symbols, so all your standard pneumatic and electrical symbols are available in there. You have access to add your own third-party libraries to this, and you have access to the Festo product catalog. So any Festo product online in the catalog is available to be included in Fluid Draw. Another nice feature on Fluid Draw P6, which is the latest version that we have with online available, is that you can change your language options. So if you design in English, for example, you can, and your end customer is French or Italian, with a click of a button, you change the language option from your English design to French or the multiple language options available online. So really nice way to incorporate this into your Fluid Draw software. Fluid Draw comes in two license options. You have a 365 license, which is a yearly license which automatically renews, or you have the P6 version, which is perpetual. It's a once-off purchase, then you have the license for as long as P6 is valid and carries on. So any updates on the P6 platform, you will be entitled to with a once-off purchase. Keep in mind also, we've launched a trial version of Fluid Draw. So if you are interested in Fluid Draw, you want to try it, please go ahead and try. There is a trial license option. You can run it for 30 days, test it out, see the functionality, see if this adds some benefit to your lives and how your working process. Great, fantastic. I think at this point, I'd like to just start a poll question. So I'll ask Kersha to maybe just quickly start a poll for us. We just want to quickly see you guys, see your usage on Eplan, who of you are using Eplan from the audience and who are not, just to get me an idea of what's going on. Should you be in full screen mode at the moment, please do minimize your screen just to see the poll if it's not coming up. It should take a few seconds to load. Right, and then you can click onto the answers and give us some feedback there. We'd appreciate the feedback. Thank you. I see a lot of you are already voting, so it looks like the poll has come through, so that's fantastic. It's good to see. I'll give you guys another 30 to 40 seconds just to allow everyone a chance to vote. Right, and I just want to emphasize again that we are running discounts at the moment on the AppWorld. So if you are interested in Smart Tenants, Fluid Draw, or Eplan Macros, currently we do have a 20% discount on the AppWorld. So if you're interested and want to purchase, now would be a great time to do so. Do make use of the opportunity. It's a good chance at the moment. Right, so I see most of you have voted. I see a lot of information coming through.
I think we've got the majority of the votes.
Perfect. Thank you, Kersha. That's great. So I see most of you do use Eplan Macros. That's very good to know. For those of you who don't, I will give you guys a little bit of a background just to position where this is coming from and what the Festo add-on is here for you. And then we can carry on with Eplan Macros, 100%. So Eplan itself is a third-party software. So those of you who use Eplan will know Eplan is an electrical planning tool, which allows you to create an electrical schematic of your entire production line or your plant, from the PLC down to the last sensor. Very good for fault finding or for traceability of your line, so you know, for everyone who's using the line knows where to look for what and how things are wired from your cabinets to your panels to your rest of your system. So the add-on here from Festo side is that we can add Festo macros for Eplan. So if you have any Festo products running on your lines or your production lines or your machines, you now have the ability to add those as a macro with a click of a button to your system. So you do not need to spend hours of engineering time to create the valve terminal from the Eplan catalog and create all the layouts with the drawings, the pneumatic and electrical schematics. You now can purchase the macro for your Festo product, download the macro and have it easily imported into your Eplan project at a click of a button. So this is a great time saver for you, and we all know time is money. So the less hours you have to spend on creating the macro, the more time you have to do other tasks or to create the other parts of your design. So typically, what would a Eplan macro from Festo be or have included in it? I'll show you an example at the end also that gives you a graphic overview. But as you can see on the screen in front of you, you should see is that the content of that macro would be the bill of material. So whatever you have, if it's a valve terminal, it would be the individual items on that valve terminal, from the valves to the electrical parts, the inputs and outputs, the analogs, whatever else you have on the valve terminal. You'd have a 2D overview of your valve terminal with the Festo configuration code. You have a PLC overview. You'd have a pneumatic overview, so the electrical and the pneumatic overviews available for you. And then you have the electrical and pneumatic representation, which is important because that shows you where's your IO, where's your pneumatic inputs, where's the outputs for the pneumatics, everything on one macro. So with the click of a button, you have all of this information available for you. So a great time-saving option here to use. So what is on the Festo schematics, or what does Festo schematics offer you for Eplan? All our standard valve terminals are already incorporated in this option. So whether it's MPA, V2G, or VTSA, you can incorporate that as a macro. Our CPX platform, so the IP65 CPX modular system, that's also incorporated. So whether you have a standalone PLC or a field bus, a remote IO with CPX or a valve terminal, you can incorporate that with macros. Our handling guide online, so if you have 1D, 2D, or 3D robotic systems from Festo, so any handling systems that we have, you can incorporate with the macro. MS or MS air prep units, so MS configurable units, you can create the macros on this platform. And then last but not least, YJKP servo press kit. So our servo press kits are available as an Eplan macro, which is a nice handy system to use. And then one last item is the Festo design tool. So if any of you are working with the Festo design tool, any configurations you do in there, you can also get the Eplan macro from. Right, we are adding more products to this basket, so this is a start, but as we go along, we will incorporate more and more configurable items into this basket, so there'll be more and more options for you to use as an Eplan macro. So do make use of this opportunity. Right, I think that's it from the practical side. I think I'll quickly go out of my presentation mode now and go into the web browser. I'll take you through the AppWorld and show you how an Eplan macro works, how you would incorporate it and get to the macro to download it for your project as a quick overview. 100%. Kersha, maybe just could you let me know if you can see my web browser at the moment? Should be GoToWebinar visible.
It's visible on my side.
Thank you very much. All right, so then just to navigate, there's a few ways to get into the AppWorld. You could do it from our Festo website. I'll show you one way to do it. If you are on a web browser, you can log into www.festo.com. You guys can see I've done this a few times. It's already popping up in my history. And then it's festo.com/AppWorld. So if you type in /AppWorld, it will take you straight to the international AppWorld page. So normally you'll see this should be Great Britain. If you are logged in, remember that you as a local customers are part of Festo Southern Africa or East Africa. We'd log into the South Africa website. So just make sure that if you're on GB, you can click on GB, click on country, and then just select South Africa. So this is important because as a Festo, if you have a Festo account with us, your online shop user profile works on the AppWorld. So it's the same user login information as you would use on an online shop. So if you have purchasing powers on the online shop, you can also purchase on the AppWorld. If you have viewing options on the online shop, you can do the same on the AppWorld. But to make sure that your user and login details work, you need to be on the local page. So in this case, ZA. Right, so then I can log in. So I'll log into my accounts quickly. Give me a few seconds here to just quickly type in my login details. And don't worry, I don't have even any purchasing abilities, so using my user account is not gonna assist. So I've just quickly logged in, so it should update shortly. And then you'll see once you logged in successfully, you'll have under the login option here on the top right hand side, you should have the ability. Let me just quickly highlight that. Right, and here you see here is my username. So I know I'm in and I can see what's in my cart already. So I haven't purchased anything yet, but I do have items in my cart. I'll just quickly go back here. Right, so I'm going to remove this from the cart because I'll redo it in any case. All right, so going through the AppWorld, you'll see now the banner in front of you should be cycling through some of these products. So for example, Fluid Draw, let me go back here to Fluid Draw. You'll see here from the Fluid Draw side, there's the promo. So if you purchase Fluid Draw, you use this code down here, Fluid Draw promo, and I'll show you later on how to incorporate that. That promo will take you and give you the 20% discount for the purchase of Fluid Draw, for example. So you can see what all the promos are at the moment, and then Eplan Macros is also on here. So just to navigate on the top left hand side, there's the apps. If I click on the apps, it will give me all the apps that are currently available on the AppWorld. So either on the left hand side, some of the products that we have, where we have software and services for these products, additional functions, or the basic functions, so split into maintenance, and engineering tools, condition monitoring, which would be our dashboards. Maintenance would be smartenance. So if I click on the maintenance, it should take me to the smartenance user, and you'll see as I have logged in, it will show me the basic and advanced option. Excuse me, sorry, and then I can add these to the cart. So if I want to purchase a license, I click on the license that I want and add it to my cart, and then you'll see it should appear on the top right hand side. So you see with Smartenance now, it's asking me for an account ID. So in this case, for Smartenance, I need an account. So this brings me to the next point. If I click on all details, I'll get a breakdown of Smartenance in detail. So in the app, what is the app about? What is the web application? And then how to start. So with Smartenance, you would need to register on one of these links here to create, let me quickly show that just in case that's not clear. So one of these links in blue here, this would be a nice way to create a user. You can use a trial license for a month to test out Smartenance if it works, but you need to create a trial version for yourself so that you have a user, Smartenance user, and from there then you can purchase the actual Smartenance license to run for the full 12 months. And then, as I mentioned, we have this basic and advanced at the moment. The premium is coming. It's not quite released yet, but you can see some of the options with both license versions that you have. You can see for one, the data space, so the online cloud storage space that you have available for Smartenance is referenced here. You can see for the basic, it's 10 gigabytes, so that could be interesting for you if you have a lot of videos and photos that you want to share with Smartenance. Maybe the advanced user with 25 gigabytes is a little bit better option for a 12-month period. And then all the other functions for Smartenance are listed. And then at the bottom is just a few technical requirements. If you're unsure what kind of requirements your web browser requires or your PC setup for Smartenance, you can just read about that here. Right, so then I'd like to get into Eplan macros. So as we are coming to the end of the 30 minutes, I'll show you Fluid Draws available here as well. If you want, there's the link to the trial license. If you want to test out Fluid Draw, please go ahead. So with Smartenance, with Eplan, with the Eplan macros, so how do I go about getting an Eplan macro? So what I'll do here is I've pre-prepared using Festo Quick Search, which is a tool available for you. It's a quick catalog. I'll just quickly see I've saved a Valve terminal here that I've used previously. So what I need to do is with this Valve terminal, the code, if I add the Eplan macro to the cart, so I added it to the cart, I want to get this macro, then the pop-up window gives me the ident code. So the ident code would be the Festo configuration or identification code. So in this case, it's a Valve terminal, so I have 2 lines of code. So from Quick Search, I'll show you here the top and the bottom line. If I just quickly copy those lines, I'll add them in here exactly like I've got them on my configuration code. Let me add second line as well. So if you only have one configuration code, or you have a C number, which is a newer form of an identification code that we create, then you just paste that into the first ident code line. So once I've inputted the ident code that I want the Eplan macro for, then I select my project language, so in this case English, and then the Eplan version. So this depends on what version you're running, either 2.3 or 2.7. You can select either one that's applicable to you, and then you can add. So bulk licenses would be if you have a few valve terminals, or you want to do a few licenses for this, you could also generate a bulk license. Then it will generate the licenses for you, and then you can apply those licenses to whichever product you would like to use. But for this case, it's this individual license, so I'll just create and add to the cart for this valve terminal. And then you'll see once it's added, it pops up into my cart on top. So then I can go to view to the cart to see what I've got in the cart. And from here, I can go to purchase. So when, as you can see with the discount code, so if I enter my discount code here, so I have an option to enter apply discount. I can enter the discount code here, which should be schematic promo, and then apply discount. It should then automatically factor in the 20% discount for your pricing, and then you should see that's gone through. And once you've done that, you can then purchase. So by proceeding to checkout, or you have the option to save to the cart at this point and leave it there for future purchases. But if you do want to purchase, the next step would be proceed to checkout. That would be the final step before you purchase your Eplan macro. Just quickly loading there. And then as soon as it's loaded, it will show the billing address. In this case, it's Festo. There you can put in your order number. So this is important for your invoicing. The invoicing you receive would have that order number reference. So please do add your order number before you purchase, and then your email address. So this is important because that's where the invoice is going to. So the email address you put in there is where the invoice will be received, and you'll get a confirmation that your order was processed and was successful. Then you accept end user license agreements, both cases here, and once that's done, you can place your order. The order is instantaneous. It may take a minute or two to generate the macro, but as soon as you've placed your order, you can go back into your cart, and once you're in your view cart mode, the link to that macro should be available for you. You can download the macro and then install it into your Eplan project in this case. So I'll show you, I have downloaded a macro before, so I'll show you basically how this looks like. You have the macro, both macro files, and a PDF version of that file that's available for you for that macro. I've opened that PDF on my side just to show you guys how that looks like. So on the macro that you receive with the standard templates, you have a BOM, so a table of contents of the entire macro. You have a summarized version of the parts list, everything that's in that valve terminal in this case. You have connection list. So you have your lists for your pneumatic connections, your electrical connections, everything's listed and categorized and linked to the correct page number. You have a valve terminal, so the 2D overview. So in this case, a valve terminal, if I zoom in here, you'll see the Festo identification code. So identification 1 and 2, similar to what I inputted earlier. That's available, so you can see what kind of valve terminal you have here, the complete layout of that valve terminal. And then if I go through this further, you'll see you've got your valve coils. So the coils for your pneumatic side, for the valves on the pneumatic side are represented. Everything that you have inside here, all the spares, all labeled already. Just minimize the side view here, might be a little better. All right, so all the coils are there. If I go through the pages, you'll see the electrical connections blocks are there. So everything that you've created is there. You'll have all your electrical connections available, your pneumatic connections from your service unit, in this case a filter regulator, back to your individual valve connections, everything already included. So everything's already there for you. You can incorporate it into your macro. It's referenced and linked. So very, very nice and easy way at a click of a button. So saves you quite a lot of time. All right, I think we just ran a little bit over there. I hope you don't mind. So that's it in a nutshell from my side. So I think I'll quickly minimize this, go back to my presentation. I think Kershaw, at this point, I think, are there any questions in the chat already that were available or that were asked that we maybe can address now before we open the Q&A?
No questions in the chat. If anybody would like to, you can type it in there.
Yeah, 100%, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you very much for your attention and for spending the 30 minutes with me today. I hope it was of some value to you. We're having a Q&A session now, so if you want to, you're welcome to unmute and ask your questions or type it into the chat, preferably, whichever is better for you. If you have questions for us, and then I'll try and answer them. Should we not be able to answer you right now, we'll definitely get back to you with an answer afterwards.
Okay, great. I'm going to unmute the audience.
100%.
So
Thank you,
now,
Kusha.
if they'd like to speak, if anybody would like to speak, you're welcome to unmute yourself and you'll be able to talk to Thomas.
Morning, Thomas. My name is Martin Ferreira.
Yes, good morning. How are you?
Yes, good morning. I'm fine, thanks, Thomas. Sorry, I'm only able to get online about 5 minutes into your presentation.
Sure.
I'd just like to ask, I basically got them to the point where you show the products that were monitoring the amount of air being used, the flow monitoring, if I may use that word. So I missed that a bit. We do leak finding, so obviously that product will be of great interest of us to our customers. Where can I learn more about those products? It's the first time I've seen them. We're new to Festo, so we don't know all the products. So that product in specifically is very new to me.
100%, Martin. Thank you for the question. That's a very, very good question. So from my side, so the energy efficiency modules that we have at the moment are called MSE6 E2M. But if you want to, I'll definitely send you some info afterwards on them. Basically, how they work is it's a combination unit of an on-off valve, a pressure sensor, flow sensor, and a field bus node, basically. And then you can connect that into either your existing field bus system or your existing PLC network, or you can create a standalone system. We have some customers already that are using standalone systems, so they created this with a dashboard, and then they plug and play. So they go from line to line, plug that into the line, and then use that to monitor the line for a week or whatever is required. And then there's two items to this. So the Iot Gateway is also available from Festo, and that is already pre-configured with the dashboard. So if you purchase the Iot Gateway and the dashboard, you can add that to the E2M, for example, and then you have a complete system whereby you can monitor on the one hand and switch on and switch off the lines. So the nice feature with these modules is in a standby period. So if you're not running production, you can actually switch off the compressed air, and then the system monitors what's the leak rate during switch off period. So you can see how much leakage you have in that line while it's not producing. And whilst it's producing, of course, you're also seeing the data coming through, and that data is then downloadable via an Excel file, and you can use that for further analytics. So yeah, definitely, Martin, if you'd like to, I'll note down your name here, and I can send you some more info on this if you want.
Thomas, we'll also be releasing a survey after this, and on there, anybody who'd like more information can also request specifically the information that they're looking for, and then we can get back to them there.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you, Kershaw. Great. Yeah, if there's a survey going out afterwards, as Kershaw mentioned. So, Martin, if you don't mind, just give us your details there and tell us what you'd like to know more about, and then I'll definitely get back to you with some detailed information. I hope that answered your question for now. But if you do have more questions, you're welcome to ask now or via the survey then later on.
Okay, Martin says thanks. We do have another question from Michael, and he says, how can I access the trial version of FluidDraw P6 and Eplan?
Excellent. Yeah, perfect. Michael, thank you for the question. So the trial version, if you go into your AppWorld, so as I am now, I'll just quickly share on the screen there. You can maybe follow from there. Into the AppWorld, you can just go to the top left-hand side to your apps. So the AppWorld will be festo.com/AppWorld, and then just navigate to South Africa's page or the link on top here. You could also use, and then under the app tab, just go to your engineering tools. So FluidDraw falls under the engineering tools. And then you'll see once you're in there, you should see FluidDraw P6. And then there's a link here button for the trial license. So you can just click on the trial license button, and then that should take you through the process of loading a trial license and getting a license key. So then you'll generate a license key. The actual software of FluidDraw you can get from two sites, either here under the See All Details tab. You can go in and look at the software to be downloaded. So under Setup FluidDraw P6. Or further down here, there should be another link to it, or alternatively on our support portal. So we have a Festo support portal. If you're on the Festo website, there's a top button, support and downloads. You click on that link, it takes you to support portal, then you just type in there FluidDraw. As an example here for FluidDraw, and then under the software tab, you'll be able to download the software. So there's two elements to this. One, you can download the software actually to install on your PC, and then on the actual AppWorld, you can generate the trial license, which will generate a license key for you to install it for 30 days. That way, you should be able to then load FluidDraw for the 30-day period and test it out. I hope that answers your question, Michael. Oh yes, Eplan Macros. You wanted to know Eplans. So just to go back to engineering tools here. For the Eplan Macros, if you go under See All Details, it will take you into the details page for Eplans. It will explain to you everything, basically what I've talked about this morning. Then you will see down here. I'll just quickly give the page a few seconds to load. You'll see down here, have a look at how it works. So there's a free sample and a video tutorial. So you're welcome to click on those links. The video tutorial will also take you through step by step what I've discussed here this morning. And the free sample, you can download that and use that on your ePlans, see how it integrates, see how it works for you, and if there's value add here for you, 100%. Michael, does that answer your question? Are you okay with that?
He's mentioned in the chat, yes, it does answer it very clearly. Okay, I think those are all the questions that we have. Any others before we wrap up? All right, so we're just about bang on time then, which is very well planned. We're going to be releasing the survey, as I mentioned earlier. On there, please do complete it. You'll be receiving it after this webinar shuts down on your internet browser page, as well as via email. And it is important that you fill that out, especially if you require a copy of this presentation or more information. So please do take a moment. It will take you less than a minute to complete that survey. All right, that's all from my side, Thomas. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate your time this morning. I hope that added some value to you and increases your efficiency and your productivity going forward with Festo. Thank you very much for your attention.